Hello Wolfden, my name is Voltorn Elda and welcome to the Voltage Reviews. In today's review we take a look at the game Shu. If you are interested in how we calculate our scores, go check the description for a little guide. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with the first category. Shu is a 2.5D platformer game, which keeps the camera focus on the main character, Shu. Meanwhile, the environment moves both behind Shu in the background and in front of him, giving you the feeling of actually traversing the world instead of just being plastered onto it. The entire look of the game brings back memories of platformer games I used to play when I was younger. Little secrets are hidden from time to time, making proper use of the environment to hide themselves from your view. Yet at certain angles you can spot them or the road towards them, making for some interesting moments. In total, Shu has 15 different levels, spread over 5 different areas, with every area portraying a completely other side of the game world. You'll be traversing coastlines, running through forests, and even finding your way through abandoned cities. Besides the original levels, the creators of the game recently released a free DLC called Caverns of the Nightjars, which contained another 6 levels. Overall, the game's visuals truly draw you into the different areas, and sometimes it's giving you a lovely view when you take a moment to stand still. The 3D art style of the background, together with the 2D art of the characters, make for an interesting combination that feels complete. For this, Shu receives a full vault when it comes to the visual aspect. Moving on to the story of the game, it starts off with a great bang. The moment you start the game, you are greeted with a cutscene with fitting music that instantly brings you into it. When a great and terrible storm destroys Shu's village, he is barely able to escape from the clutches of the storm, even if he is ripped away from his friends and family. It is your job to find the other stranded villagers who survived the devastation, with the intention to find a way to stop the storm and find sanctuary from the destruction. Although the story is fairly simple, thanks to it being brought to you only through visuals, it still feels as a complete journey. At some points you can take it easy, while at other moments you are urged to make as much haste as you can. Originally, I wished for Shu to have shown a little bit more of the story, perhaps through journal pages, in order to understand more about the world. It was only till very recently that I found out the game actually had something along those lines. When you've collected all the ancient tablets in an area, you have the option to take a closer look and thus reveal a small journal entry. Especially in the later levels, I was left wondering what actually happened to those places. I kind of wish these lore pieces were a bit more accessible, but I am now even more interested in the story, so I'm certainly going to replay the game and find out the details. Because I originally thought that Shu did not have these extra lore pieces, I gave only half a point for the overall story. However, since I now know about the presence of these texts, my biggest worry has been taken away. Without any further question, I can now give Shu a full vault point for the overall story. Our next category is level design. For a platform that throws quite a few different mechanics at you, it also gives you enough time to practice those skills before you are required to truly use them in various different situations. Throughout your adventure, you'll encounter other survivors of the storm. Each survivor has a different skill that can help you out, and although you only have access to 2 of those skills at a given time, it is just difficult enough to keep you on your toes. Every world introduces 2 different characters to you, and in the end, you'll certainly be happy with the given time to get used to their abilities. You'll truly have to run for your life while using your new skills in split-second decisions. Although you only have a maximum of 5 lives, losing each one every time you get killed or fell into a pit of doom, the game provides a fair amount of checkpoints. For every checkpoint you pass, your lives are restored. The moment you run out of lives, you'll have to restart the current level from the very beginning, which might be a tiny bit frustrating, but at the same time, it also gives you a new chance to re-practice your companion abilities. In my own playthrough, I've only had to face a single restart in the original story, and that happened only in the end level, where my skills were truly tested to their maximum, and one restart happened in one of the DLC levels. Losing all 5 lives and restarting might be a harsh punishment for some, but it also gives you that bit of urgency. You aren't going to be able to fail at the same point by making the same mistake. You'll have to adapt and find a way that works. Because checkpoints are so common, you'll have a total of 5 lives most of the time. I feel like the level build up into the harder parts of the game is created in a fair way. You are given enough time to get used to the different level elements and are rewarded for succeeding. This is why Shu receives a full fault for level design. Next up is the Timescale. I can be fairly quick about this category. When I look at my own time played on Steam, I've managed to get a total of around 3.5 hours out of the story mode and another hour with the added DLC alone. When you finish that, or when you've finished a certain level, you're able to retry it with a time trial in mind. How fast can you go? These time trials give you a reason to replay the game and thus a source of replayability, which I find very important. Sure, time trials might not be my kind of thing, but there are enough who will want to test their skills to the limit and see how fast they can get. Still, I kind of wish the main story would have lasted a little bit longer. Perhaps it would have lasted longer if I failed more often and had to restart levels several times, but I can't truly take my own skill into account here. Perhaps I was just lucky. Either way, I am rewarding Shu with half a fault for the Timescale, although with the DLC it came very close to the full point, but not close enough. From the Timescale, we move over to another important part of every game, the audio. As I've said before, when you start the game, you are greeted with a cutscene. What makes this cutscene so strong is that the audio fits exactly what is happening. The music starts peaceful, only to suddenly build up as doom approaches. When entering the world map, you are also greeted with another soundtrack that truly gives you the feeling of having overview and which just screams adventure. In my playthrough, I instantly used the word glorious. The moments where you are forced to move quick are also pointed out by the music, giving that feeling of dread to truly make you feel the urgency. In-game, there are also tiny sound cues for picking up collectibles, and overall, not a single sound effect feels wrong. The audio truly complements the game, and that is why Shu receives a full fault point for audio. Little to no remarks on that. Then it's time to talk about the gameplay. I've played a fair amount of 2D platformers back when I was a little kid, so I was able to get used to the controls quickly. Moving around, jumping and gliding, it all feels so natural after your first few steps. It might take a little bit of getting used to when it comes to the controls for the companion abilities, but like previously said in level design, you are given enough time to toy around with them before you are truly put to the test. One tiny point of criticism for me is the fact that in the final level of the game, you are reunited with old companions from the previous worlds. The downside there is, while being in a massive hurry, you'll have to remember how to use their abilities again. If you can't remember, you're in a bit of trouble there. Sure, the button combinations aren't that difficult and normally you should be able to remember them easily, but when the adrenaline is rushing through your veins, it would have been very helpful to have a little bit of a reminder there. But the fact that you have to think so quickly in that level might also work in favor of the game. Your companions are the last survivors, and while you can trust on their help, they also place their trust in you. Because I hardly have any problems with gameplay aspects, Shu receives a full fault point here. For the final category, we move over to the enjoyment. Did I enjoy the game? Did I enjoy the entire package? There is only one answer I can give here, and that is a very honest yes. From the beginning till the end, I enjoyed the journey which Shu delivered. I never truly got frustrated when I failed certain jumps, and the entire game just felt fair to me. So on this point, Shu also deserves to receive a full 4 point. A truly refreshing and fun platformer. Which brings us to the end of the Voltage review. After traversing the 7 different categories, Shu ends the review with a well-deserved Voltage score of 9.3 out of 10. A fun game to play and certainly recommended if you like platformers. If you have also played through Shu but disagree with certain aspects of the review, don't hesitate to let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you are interested to see my playthrough of Shu, then click on the annotation at the top to directly go to the playlist of the Let's Play. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Have a very nice day, and remember, have fun.